Okay, folks, time to talk recovery. Once you've done your big event, and first of all, take that right hand, put it way up off the screen, out of the reach down behind your back there. Give yourself a pat on the back. Check it out. Excellent technique. I'm super good at that. About the only flexibility that I have left. Now that you've done your event, how do you recover? Okay, there's a couple of key things that we need to think about here, and we want to make sure you do it right. The way that most athletes mess up their recovery is that they kind of overdo it. They kind of swing the needle the other way. So if you've been really focused in your training and sleep and recovery, once they've hit their milestone, it goes the other way, right? They're not thinking about their sleep. They're not thinking about recovery. You're probably also not thinking about food intake. Like you're super excited, ate a bunch of crazy food at the end, and maybe you made some other choices not so wise on the ride home. I'm a super fan of eating bad food on the way home from big events. And so it's important that we do recovery right. And it's more of a holistic thing than an acute thing, but I'll talk about both. So on the holistic side, you've just done the biggest session of your year, whether it's to date or perhaps of all time. It's really important that we give your body some time to recover. So the way we need to do that is to get super clean from a food perspective. You did a lot of sugar, a lot of carbs during this session. So helping get some of that out of your system by getting back to drinking some water or some lightly flavored water. You gotta make sure you're hydrated again so your urine is clear. Make sure that you're eating some good, healthy food so you can process through things. Carbs are fine early, but we definitely want to make sure we get back on a healthy, good routine. I tell people as soon as you can get to a clean daily diet, you can have your dessert in the evening or your one treat or whatever it is that you like to have. We just don't want to go nuts across the board. We don't want to have like super greasy breakfast, go to like a sandwich shop and have like a meatball sub for lunch, and then for dinner go to the pizza place and like crush a whole meat lover's pizza as well. All of those things on their own are big adventures nutritionally. We want to make sure that we space those out accordingly so our body can process it. Remember, it's basically super stressed. If you and I go to the gym and do a bench press workout, just like this big session you've done, the next day we can't even move our arms. Same with this long ride. You can barely move your legs. Your body is in shock. And we want to make sure that we're putting some good food inside of it as well. Now, from an acute perspective about the recovery, we need to make sure we get it right, because if we do it right, your body emerges from what is the biggest workout of the year even stronger, right? So acute wise, we want to make sure we get the good calories in early, get the hydration up, get some good protein in too, usually a 4-to-1 ratio of carbs to protein. Like a chocolate milk drink or a shake. We also want to make sure that we're elevating our legs or using compression to make sure we're good, doing some light stretching, and really avoiding any prolonged seated time. So if you do a big session and then you get in the car and drive for 7 hours without taking breaks, you're going to feel pretty miserable. It's a chance for all those muscles and everything to kind of tighten up. So listen to your body, stay active, stay loose, but don't get carried away with the training again. Depending on the amount of fitness you had before the big ride and the challenge of your big ride relative to where you want to go next, there's a swing period in here where we need to make sure you've recovered enough. Markers for knowing that you're recovered enough are pretty straightforward and simple. You're back to sleeping your normal hours per night and you feel rested when you wake up based on those normal hours. Second, if you track it, that resting heart rate should match up with what you normally see with that resting heart rate. Third, the alignment between your heart rate during a workout and your RPE, or your power during a workout and your RPE, has come back together. It's not uncommon that when you get back on the road after a big session that you go out and train and you feel like you're crushing it, everything looks good, you're zone 5 effort, and you look down the dial and it says you're riding zone 2 in terms of actual numbers. And that disconnect between RPE or heart rate and the real numbers on the ground, it's just a function of fatigue. So as you start to see that misalignment get reconciled, that's also another sign that you're recovered and you can move on. For most of us, because cycling isn't super that epic many days and it's non-weight bearing, recovery happens fairly quickly. Usually I tell people after 3 or 4 days, you should feel fairly normal and maybe ready to get back to your basic training, albeit perhaps at a slightly lower zone. Don't push yourself too soon. When you get back, give yourself 1 or 2 days of reintegration workouts, just super easy so your body gets back in the flow. There's a lot of health benefits that come out of being active, but they get eradicated if in this recovery space your body's in, you start pummeling it with intervals and so on. There's only so much work your body can take. Opting in this phase of your season to be smart about recovery, being mindful about listening to your body, will pay off big time across the rest of your year and beyond. If you have other tips around recovery or things that you do to make sure that you're ready to go again, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.